Hello and welcome to an episode of Coffee with SamPaul. We're down here at Brighton Jetty, at the Brighton Jetty Bakery. Got myself my latte, and I've got a lovely guest today who's got such a wide gamut of things she does that I'm not even going to try to introduce her other than to say welcome to the show, Candida.
Thank you very much, SamPaul. It's very lovely to be here. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
We're here on this gorgeous winter sunny day, which is fabulous.
It is winter, but it doesn't feel like it.
No.
It's just absolutely perfect today. Sun's shining.
It is indeed.
Birds are chirping.
They are.
So tell us a little bit about what you do. I know you work, I guess, in the healing space, but from my understanding, there's quite a lot of feathers in your cap, so to speak. Enjoy your life. Give us a bit of an idea of some of the things you do.
Sure. There are a lot of feathers in my cap. So I would start off by just saying my business is at Ease Candid Health, and I have been working this business for more than 3 decades now.
Wow.
And so it's a long time, but in that time I have gained so much knowledge, so much information. I've met so many beautiful people. I've had the opportunity to work with them in ways that are life-changing, not only for them but also for me, because it's never a one-way street when you work with people or anything really. So it's been very humbling experience, but a very growing experience, and I'm still growing. And yeah.
That's an everlasting job, isn't it? Really, for life.
Yeah,
You're always growing, learning.
Absolutely. So the things that I do. So there are. I'll touch on the things that I do, but I'll begin by saying that my main drive and passion, when I started all those years ago, was that. I have this firm belief that we can live and learn through joy and happiness, that we don't have to suffer, but we think that we do. And so we think that we learn through suffering, and we do, but we don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, we do. We can, because we can suffer and still not learn.
Yeah.
But we don't have to. We can live and learn through joy and happiness.
Yeah.
And then well, how do we do that? How do we do that? I mean, life is difficult. Life is hard. It's in all of us have our stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So through the work that I do, I have, again, another thing of mine has always been to look at the whole person, the body, mind, spirit, the body, mind, heart, that's body, mind, soul, all of that, because none of it works in isolation. It all works together, right? And so you can help the body, but if you're not helping the mind and the heart as well, then it's not going to work. Good. So, yes, so I've always worked with, the whole person.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is what has spurred me on to learn. So I wasn't actually actively seeking any of this. It sort of all came my way, like it came in my face. And then I started from one thing and then another, and every time I'd become proficient in one area, something else popped up in my face, and then something else and something else. And so I went from becoming like a massage therapist in the early 90s. That's when I started. And from there, it was Reiki, just came very naturally, and then I became a Reiki master teacher. And then foot reflexology, acupressure, lymphatic drainage, Bowen therapy, and then from there, hypnotherapy came my way, and then spiritual life coaching. And yoga has always been a thing. Well, when I say always, I didn't start seriously with yoga until I was in my early 50s, right? So that's about 22 years ago. And so it's all a thing, So getting back to how can we live and learn through joy and happiness. So having all those tools is really great, and that's what I bring to our collaboration if we work together. Yep. But for the person themselves, they have to want to do things for themselves, and it comes down to self-love and self-care. Yep. And that's another one of my fundamental things. It's about self-love and self-care, and if we don't have that for ourselves, it's really, I don't think we can absolutely have it for other people because we don't understand what that means. You know, you can hear that you can't love yourself until you can't love other people until you love yourself. What does that actually mean? It's because we don't know what it feels like. We don't know, and if we don't know what something feels like, if we haven't really experienced it, we cannot pass that on. We're passing on like a tiny snapshot version of something to someone else. We could probably still be helpful. You know, but so if you have the thing about self-love and that self-care, then that means you need to have an awareness of yourself. So say, for example, you've got like back pain. And you think, oh, yeah, it'll be all right, you know, but then it's not all right. And then it's not all right. And you're not very self-aware about it in the understanding that it's there for a reason, you know. And so you just keep pushing it back and ignoring it. But what pain is there for, and whether that's pain physical, whether it's emotional, mental, feeling pain, any of that, it's an energy, and energy carries information. And so the information that the pain would be saying is something like, look, you've got a lot of tension in your body, and because you there's the muscles absorb the tension in our body, and so the muscles are shortening, and so they're pulling you on one side, and it's impinging on a nerve. And it's impinging on a nerve, and so if you don't do something about it, you're going to have trouble walking pretty soon. But you say, no, I'll be all right. Then you get one morning, you think, oh, I can't get up, I can't walk, you know. And it's like, what? You know, so we went from pain, which is the alert, to suffering. So pain and suffering are quite different. So that's where I get to my thing. We don't have to suffer if we're self-aware. And knowing that there are people, and there are lots of people out there that offer amazing things. So if you were to come to me with that, back pain, the first thing I would do is I would make sure that, and pretty much everyone, their feet are not level, like one will be shorter than the other. And it can be a bit or a lot. It can be, I've seen it as far as 2 inches, you know.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And even in little people, like my grandson, my 10-year-old grandson, he does so much sport and so much everything, throws himself into everything. and then, but he loves the treatments that I do. And even him, he was out in his legs, and we had this joke where I levelled one leg up. I was joking with him. And I said, I'm just going to pull your leg and make it longer. And then he said, oh, make sure you do the other one. So then we kept doing it. Will I get taller if I do? So that was a joke we had between us. But what I would use for that is acupressure. All right. So acupressure is using the same meridians as acupuncture. But I just use like a finger pressure. So it's a sequence. So along the back and the leg and the foot and that within minutes, guaranteed within minutes. There's never been one person in my 32 years of doing this that has not leveled up.
Wow.
You know? And I know it's so, for me it's so easy. It's so.
You've clearly got a gift for it. I mean, you mentioned at the start how each time you accomplish one area, that another came to you.
Yes.
Like it's clearly the universe is drawing to you these things because you're gifted in that area.
But also ready. I think we need to be ready.
Absolutely.
And that only comes from doing the inner work. You cannot be ready. And
Yeah, I remember hearing that really early on, and even because I did a certification in life coaching not too long ago, and one of the things that I found really interesting then is one, that you needed to be ready, but also that you could only help someone as much as you've healed and worked on yourself. Kind of what you were saying before about the awareness of self-love and so forth.
And if you haven't felt it, it's an embodied experience. If you haven't embodied what it feels like, then you can't pass that on because you don't have that information. So you don't have the information. You can't give what you don't have. That's what I say.
Yeah. Wow.
So
This might be a really silly question, but I'm just thinking, because in a way, like I can see a correlation between, say, what you do for the human body, or people, with like what a mechanic would do with a car. So, would you, in that context, have some sort of assessment process when you first meet someone? Because obviously, if I come to you and I've got an issue, my thoughts of where that issue is starting from, coming from, whatever, was probably way off what it actually is causing it. So, would you do like an assessment, so to speak?
Absolutely, and it's a great question because So I don't have an assessment where anything's written down or like a process in my head. I work a lot intuitively, and so I'll give you an example of how this worked. This was quite a number of years ago, but I've always worked this way. So I had a lady a number of years ago. She came to me she came and said, I'm so stressed out, I need a massage. And she was going on about how stressed out she was. And normally you go to a massage therapist and say, that's fine, just up on the table and we'll do a massage. But I didn't do that straight away. I said to her, and this is what I do to all my clients, not to them, but with them. And I said to her, so why do you think you're so stressed? So I will ask a question.
Yeah.
And whatever that question is, was something that comes to me at the time that I can sort of just see in my mind somehow, you know. And so I said to her, so why do you think you're so stressed? And in a matter of minutes, it came out about, first of all, she was a big lady and she had trouble reducing weight, and she didn't like herself and, you know, all of this kind of stuff. She really wanted to lose weight. And I said, that's fine, we can do that. And if you're open, we can use hypnotherapy for that. But then, and she was open to that, and we did, and that was very successful. But in the process of the lead up to the hypnotherapy, because we don't just jump into hypnotherapy, there's a process. And then she spoke about there's so much drama with her husband's family and how there's all this toxic dynamic thing going on, and there was that, and then there was something between her and her husband, and then she spoke about her son, who was only about 8 at the time, and she said that he was autistic, and the school kept calling her to come and pick him up because he was disruptive and all of that. And I spoke to her and said, look, you can get help for that. And she said they wanted to manage it themselves, and they'd been doing this, but it wasn't really working. And my concern for this little boy, so over the weeks I've seen her, I had this big concern about the little boy slipping through the cracks and not having been able to manage his life because it wasn't attended to when he was younger. And I really felt, you know, I've got this real affinity for children and stuff. And so I said to her, look, I know a psychotherapist who works a lot with children. He works with families, not only children, but he does do a lot of work in schools, but a lot of work with families as well. And he will come to you. Would you be willing, if I give you his information, you can ring him? And she did. That was good because not everybody will do that. Oh, of course. Yeah, she did ring, and then he went to their home. And not only did he help with the child, he helped with their marriage and the family dynamic. And then she'd lost weight as a result of it. So she just came because she was stressed. Yeah. That's what she thought. Yeah. So the thing, like you said, you were correct. The thing that you think it is not generally the thing. Yeah. There's always other things.
I guess it's easier for us to, as like people that aren't in the working area that you are, to look at symptoms, not necessarily understand or know where it's coming from.
And sure, of course, I mean, because I don't know what you do with your beautiful work. I don't know what's underneath your preparation, you know, just like the mechanic. Although my father was a mechanic, so I've got a little bit of it, but you know, there's a lot of, so I don't know that, you know, and we all bring our gifts to the table and our, you know, our leanings and, you know. Yeah.
Oh, wow, very cool. It's a great story about the woman. Like, I would not have guessed that from the outset that that's where it was going to head.
Neither did I. Yeah. I had no idea.
I guess that's what it comes down to intuitive. You know, you just sort of know without realizing why or how you know. In a sense, you just feel it.
I listen for the thoughts, you know, and what needs to happen. So it's like I'm in this quiet zone all of a sudden, you know, that's what it's like there, the cone of silence. I don't know, I was trying to work it out myself. I sort of go into this thing, and it doesn't matter what's happening in my life. I could come from a really bad situation, which sometimes has happened, and then I have to see a client, and it's like, oh my God, you know, but something comes over me, and I'm like in this silent thing, and I can hear, but no messages, feel stuff, and it always seems to be what's needed for that person.
That's so good. That's so good, and be very helpful for a lot of people. I have no doubt. Yeah. Probably why you've been in business for as long as you have. It's no mean feat to stay in business for that long. And where can people find you if they are watching this today and think, I would really love to see Candida, I think she could help me? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Okay, so my website is at Ease Candid Health, and it's www.candidavassallo.com. Facebook, LinkedIn. But just so you know, I work from a beautiful healing centre. It's the Samadhi Healing Centre at Marion.
For anyone, if you're watching, if you feel like you can see a lot of value in what Candida can offer, then reach out and maybe she can help you through something that you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Always can be improved, no matter what.
That's right. There's always room for improvement, isn't there? Yeah, absolutely. That's a lesson I've been learning myself. Well, Candida, thank you so much for
My
catching
pleasure.
up with me at the Brighton Jetty Bakery for a coffee and a chat, even though I know you didn't have a coffee, but that's okay. I had one for both of us. And I wish you really well with your business. I hope it keeps going from strength to strength. And
Thank you very much.
you're doing great work.
SamPaul, I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.